Hey, it's Tim with the University of Vinyl. Happy mid-May, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great day. Thanks for tuning in again. I thought it was kind of maybe overdue. I need to go through some pickups that I've been having a lot of luck. Like I always say, if you're persistent and you kind of keep a regular schedule as far as hitting your favorite local hunts frequently, maybe once a week, you're going to eventually get lucky. And I think that you'll agree with me that I've been pretty lucky. I've got 10 fantastic albums to showcase today. Also, I have a couple shout outs. I want to talk about briefly another vinyl community channel that I think deserves a lot more attention. And then I have a shout out from a fan of the channel who recently sent me 4 LPs. I'm going to talk about one of those near the end. So stay tuned. In 1989, New Order released their 5th album, and that was, of course, Technique. This is a great copy. Was lucky to find another gold stamp promo. There you see it. This was kind of continuing on from Brotherhood. Still heavily dance, acid house influenced. I read that they recorded the album on the island of Ibiza in Spain. So anyone who has been there or knows about Ibiza knows that it's basically a 24-hour party island. And Peter Hook has said that this has got a fantastic, end of school, starting summer vibe to it. And I kind of concur. It's a very, very summery sounding album. Perfect for right now as we're moving into the summer. This is a US pressing on the Quest label with the custom New Order Technique label there. I will tell you that the sound on this sounds amazing. You've got some great songs on here like Mr. Disco, Dream Attack. What are some of my favorites on side 1? Fine Time, All the Way, Loveless, Guilty Partner. Check out that hype sticker, which was on the album. I was in one of my local haunts about 2 weeks ago now, and they had told me, they had confided with me that an older couple around my age, older, had dropped off their entire record collection. Of course, my interest was piqued. I noticed that they were still kind of going through the albums and pricing things right there at the front desk as I walked in. But they did tell me that several things were in the new arrivals bin. So I immediately made a beeline there. And the first thing I picked up was the first Jam album for my collection. And this has got That's Entertainment on it. Side 1 has got the booming Beatlesque Start, track 1. This is a UK press on the Polydor label. Sounds incredible. It's mastered at Sterling. Other great songs, Dreamtime, Boy About Town, and Scrape Away. Paul Weller's original band in the UK, The Jam. Fantastic. I've been looking through used bins and flea markets and garage sales for 5 years now, really, if I think about it. A solid, let's say at least 4.5 years, where I have made a conscious effort to start buying records again. And never have I seen Sandinista out in the wild. So this is a holy grail album for me. This is the Clash's White album, in my opinion. So, you know, released in 1980, this was the fourth Clash release. This is a 36-track masterpiece. It's a triple album. Just incredible. 6 sides of pure bliss. This is a masterpiece. Everything from reggae to dub to ska to punk to rock and roll to gospel. This is an incredible piece of work. It belongs in every self-respecting record collector's collection. What a masterpiece. Let's just mention a few of the songs. Side 1, The Magnificent Seven, Hitsville, UK. Side 4, Police on My Back, The Equalizer, Broadway. Side 2, The Crooked Beat, Somebody Got Murdered. Side 5, Junkie Slip, Kingston Advice, The Street Parade. Side 3, If Music Could Talk. Side 6, Career Opportunities and Shepherd's Delight. This is on the Epic label. I really had to shoehorn this triple album into the sleeve, so I'm actually not going to take any of the records out, but I will tell you that this is in fantastic condition. The sound on this thing is incredible. It's got an echoey, kind of a raw sound that just sounds amazing. That is Sandinista, The Clash. This was a $5 pickup here locally in Fort Collins, Colorado. 1983, Elvis Costello and the Attractions, Punch the Clock. This has got, of course, Every Day I Write the Book. But the standout masterpiece on this album is Shipbuilding. That is the last song on side 1. It includes a gorgeous trumpet solo by none other than Chet Baker. And of course on the Columbia label. The next 3 things I'm going to show were found at an indoor flea market near Fort Collins, Colorado. There is a district in Fort Collins, Colorado, kind of on the way to Loveland. And off of Old US 287, you will find 4 or 5 of these indoor flea markets. And there used to be a lot more variety of records there 10 years ago than there is today. But I still make a habit of hitting these things up occasionally because you just never know what you're going to find. And I was pleased and shocked to find this. This is a maxi-single XTC, promoting skylarking. It's got Dear God on one side. This is a 45 RPM from Geffen Records. And then on the other side, we have Earn Enough for Us and Grass. Both fantastic songs on the album. This is the single, the B-side, Dear God. I think this is what happened. I believe this is what caused Geffen to re-release the album with Dear God on it. So they had to basically put out a new issue of the album because Dear God wasn't on the album originally. And there is that hype. If you ever find these 12-inch maxi singles cut on 45 RPM, by all means, grab them. They sound absolutely amazing. I have been lucky enough to find most of the maxi singles that have been put out to promote all of the XTC albums back in the day. They are great kind of accompaniments to the main album, and it's fun to kind of do an A/B testing between the songs that are featured on the maxi compared to the studio album. So in this instance, this was actually mastered at Precision Lacquer by Stephen Marcusson, great mastering engineer. Check out my video featuring a lot of the albums that he has mastered. But the original album was cut at Sterling Sound by Greg Calby, Again, check out my Greg Kelby video in the playlist. It's nice to make comparisons. I think you're always going to have a better sounding sound if it's cut at 45 RPM, especially when you have just only 2 songs on one side. Plenty of space to kind of breathe. This is a fantastic sounding maxi single. Was also happy to find a long out of print album, Time Fades Away, 1973. This is the famous live album whereby Neil Young was touring after the Harvest album, and I don't think he played any Harvest tunes on this live set. Let's just double check and verify that. Yeah, not a single song taken from the Harvest LP. The cool thing about this record, this is a very, very early release. And if you ever find any of these, there of course is the Reprise label from the early 70s. The later reissues of the album have stereo in all caps on the very bottom of the label. You'll see that there is no stereo indication here, indicating it is a very, very early pressing. Sounds amazing. This was actually recorded kind of on the fly, a mobile truck, and it doesn't sound as great as some of the archival bootleg releases. I'm particularly thinking about Carnegie Hall, but this is a historic album in the Neil Young discography. I had kind of a beat up copy, a later pressing. This is going to be my new number 1. If you've watched my channel for a while, you may know that I have a bit of a soft spot for outlaw country and honky tonk. And there is an album from Gary Stewart called Out of Hand. It was released in 1975. It kind of put Gary Stewart on the map, and I have been looking for this album for a couple of years now. And I was absolutely shocked, again, to find this in this flea market for a fantastic price. If you go look on Discogs, these albums are going for $50 and up. There is Gary Stewart. Gary Stewart, a long-time suffering alcoholic pill popper, but an incredible voice, great feel on guitar. He had a lot of friends in the business. Unfortunately, died in the mid-1990s, I believe. Killed himself after his wife had died of pneumonia. He was not in a good way as far as substance abuse, but this is a legendary album. If you find any Gary Stewart albums, I recommend that you pick them up, give it a listen. This album in particular has a who's who roster of Nashville session greats, including the great David Briggs on piano, as well as Hargus Pig Robbins on piano. R.I.P. Pig Robbins, he died earlier this year. That guy was an all-star, Country Music Hall of Fame session player. He has been on countless country albums. Stewart is also backed up by the Jordanaires on this thing. So great sounding album. All of these 1970s RCA albums out of Nashville sound amazing. Of course, the big hit on here was She's Acting Single, I'm Drinking Doubles. Drinking Thing, I See the Want To in Your Eyes. Great addition to the collection. The Hunt Is Over. You know you have a problem when you walk into a used record store and you find a foreign pressing of one of your favorite albums and you end up walking out with said album. This is what happened to me the other day. I actually just featured, I've got a US pressing of And Then There Were Three, the Genesis 1978 album, mastered by Dennis King. I have like I said, I have a US pressing. Sounds very, very, very good. But I could not pass up this on that fantastic Charisma label. This is actually a German pressing, and it does sound really, really nice. Again, fun to kind of contrast and compare against other pressings in your collection. That is, and then there were three. Genesis were starting to shed the 100% prog outlook in their albums. You know, this had, and of course, the first top 40 hit in America, Follow You, Follow Me. That is Genesis, and then there were three. It's a German pressing. Sounds great. Wax Trax Records in Denver, a fantastic institution on Capitol Hill. It's been there for years and years and years. They recently kind of split the store up into two, so they now have one store, and the two stores are like 4 doors away from each other, which is great. But they have a corner shop now dedicated to new releases, archival releases. They get a lot of audiophile stuff in there, which is nice. I saw a copy of the Fleetwood Mac Rumors 45 RPM, Kevin Gray and Steve Hoffman. That was sitting in the rack, which is great to see. Didn't pick it up. I already have a copy. And then I found this album that I've been looking for a long, long time. A repressing, I think, has finally happened of the Mollusk. This is on Plain Recordings. Plain Recordings can be hit or miss as far as pressing quality. I'm eager to kind of give this a spin. Haven't given it a spin yet, but this is a knockout album by Ween. If you know, you know, the Mollusk. Finally, I want to give a shout out to a fan of the channel, Matt in Miami. Matt was kind enough to send me 4 Gino Vanelli albums. And, you know, my favorite of the bunch is probably Brother to Brother. It's also kind of the most known. This was on the A&M label, cut by Bernie Grundman. Of course, this has the huge FM radio hit, I Just Wanna Stop. But it also has the title track, which is a fantastic... The musicianship on this thing is just incredible. I don't know a ton about Gino Vanelli. I know he's from Montreal. I know he's still touring and performing at a very high level. All of these albums are kind of renowned for the incredible musicianship and chops. So kind of looking forward to digging into a little bit more of Gino Vanelli. Matt in Miami, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Hey, last but not least, I wanted to give a shout out and kind of shine the light on Ian. Ian has a channel in the vinyl community called Broke with Audiophile Taste. Ian is in somewhere in rural Iowa. He is a true character. He's a musician, drummer, I believe. He has got a fantastic knowledge of analog recordings. Had a pretty cool career. If you watch a few of his videos, he will share some of the experiences that he's had along the way. But the super interesting thing about Ian is, right out of the gate, he has decided to go ahead and just hit up different mastering engineers for interviews. I recently saw he did an interview with none other than Kevin Gray. It's an hour interview. It goes way, way, way in depth, and he gets Kevin to talk about a lot of other things and things earlier in his mastering career that he has not touched on, you know, with the various other interviews you might have seen out there, particularly with, you know, with Chad Kassem. So highly recommended that you check out Ian. He most recently had the only interview that I've seen on YouTube with Chris Bellman. Chris Bellman is one of the main names out there in the kind of archival and reissue mastering space. He has been with Bernie Grundman for years, and it was a really, really interesting and eye-opening interview with Chris Bellman. Make sure you check out Ian. with Broke with Audiophile Taste. He deserves a lot more subs than he currently has, and I hope people will go check him out. That's it for today. I will be back soon. If you liked the video, please like it. If you would consider subscribing, you will be notified whenever I put out new videos. I'm doing 2 or 3 a week currently. Loving the whole process, the recording, the editing, the research of my collection, and just a fun way to share with everybody. And I also appreciate all the comments that are always coming in. It's great to kind of mix it up with everybody out there. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon.